Bring in Congressman Tim Ryan of Ohio. Okay, the Buckeyes are good. I know all that. Enough of that. Congratulations, Congressman. You're back to work. You were on the right side of the aisle on this one, no question about it. You were all along. But I'm curious tonight. I'd like to know from you, what's it like in Ohio? What are people saying in Ohio? Is this Republican over going to affect the midterms, in which is such a pivotal state for 2016?
Well, I just got home this afternoon, so I'm anxious to see, this weekend while we're home, because we've been in D.C. for such a long period of time. But my inclination from the people I've talked to already, tired of the Tea Party, Ed. They're tired of the irresponsibility, tired of the recklessness. Ohio has always been, Democrat or Republican, pretty pragmatic. Either Republicans were never super conservative. They were always more moderate. Even John Boehner, before he started getting led around by the nose by the Tea Party, he was conservative, but he was constructive. He'd pass bills. He wouldn't try to do hostage takings. And so my sense is that there is going to be a backlash against this Tea Party irresponsibility. And I thought you hit the nail on the head. 140-some Republicans last night voted to default on the credit of the United States and to keep the government shut down. How irresponsible and reckless can you be? Well,
can the Republicans ever say that they are the party of fiscal responsibility from this point on?
No, they couldn't. They haven't been able to from the very beginning. I mean, let's go back to the 1993 budget with President Clinton, all Democrats. 8 years later, we are in surplus for four of those 8 years, yep. And we have money to pay down Social Security, the old lockbox debate that happened in the 2000 election. Then the Republicans come in and cut taxes for the wealthiest. We start running huge, huge deficits again. 2 wars on the credit card, a prescription drug not only on the credit card, but didn't allow us to negotiate down drug prices with the drug companies. And then the deregulation collapses the whole economy. We go into a free fall. We've got to do a rescue package for the auto industry, have to do a stimulus bill, and they have the audacity to turn around and say, boy, these Democrats, I tell you what, they really know how to spend a lot of money, and we're still cleaning up their messes from the last 20 years.
Well, I hope that the Democrats don't allow the Republicans to get amnesia when it comes to who's paying for what in the budget negotiations. You're on the House Budget Committee. I think you know very well what Paul Ryan is going to be pushing for. There's going to be voucher talk. There's going to be all kinds of talk about curbing Social Security benefits, and then no revenue. Do you think that this country can straighten its finances out with no revenue, no new revenue?
I don't think so in the long term. I think it needs to be a balanced approach. And there's a lot of things that we can do smarter with prevention, wellness, food, nutrition. Talk about the Farm Bill. You know, we subsidize a lot of food that is really, really bad for us.
It's 1.5% of the federal budget. The Farm Bill is 1.5% of the total federal budget. 80% of it goes to nutrition, and that's what the Republicans want to cut, and they can't get it through. It's amazing. I want to play a clip. I want to play a clip of President Obama talking about disagreement versus dysfunction. He addressed this earlier today.
We come from different parties, but we are Americans first. And that's why disagreement cannot mean dysfunction. It can't degenerate into hatred.
That is the first time the president has used the word hatred, to my knowledge. Did Republicans' disagreement turn to hate? I want your take on that, Congressman.
I think for some it has. You know, I think for a core group, you can't help but to watch them on TV. Last night we were coming out after the vote, and we had some Tea Party fans out there on the Capitol Hill steps screaming that our yes vote was treasonous. Yeah. And then my buddy Mike Doyle from Pittsburgh looked at me and said, wait a minute, we kept the government open, and we made sure we were going to pay our bills. Is that irresponsible? But that's who you're dealing with. Angry, hateful people who, a lot of them hate the president, a lot of them hate Democrats, and they thumb their nose at the Constitution, Ed. They say they're for the Constitution, but they thumb their nose at it at the very process the Founding Fathers set up for us to follow.
Well, we'll see if they go through a personality transformation between now and the budget negotiations. Tim Ryan, good to have you with us tonight. Go Buckeyes. I'll give you that one. Good to have you with us tonight.
Bucks.
Thanks so much. Coming up.